Article 101, Clause 2 of the 1995 Constitution stipulates that the President may, in consultation with the Speaker, address Parliament from time to time on any matter of national importance. And this marked the beginning of the President to exercise powers conferred to him in this Article 101, Clause 2 in the 9th Parliament. Museveni began by highlighting 6 mistakes government has avoided making in Uganda's oil sector. Avoiding unfair shares in the production sharing agreement, the NRM also avoided dependence on foreigners to look for oil and trained experts. That they also avoided flaring of gas, insisted on building a refinery, avoided transportation of crude, and the stabilization clause by taxing super profits made by oil companies.
We avoided that mistake, not because of Museveni president, not because of minister, not because of parliament, but because of these scientists, because they are the ones who knew.
President Museveni wants revenues from the oil sector to be strategically invested in the areas of infrastructure development like roads, railways, in order to connect regional countries and build a sustainable energy base of about 40,000 megawatts of power for the near future.
That level of electrification will enable us to run a modern economy with or without our own oil, even if the oil is finished.
But this can only be achieved if Uganda borrows a leaf from Ghana that has seen tangible benefits within the short period of time they have been producing oil.
Ghana is making very strategic strides, and a lot of it courtesy of the oil industry. Amongst others, of course, like diamonds, timber, and the rest, but oil is playing a fundamental role in transforming Ghana. You can see the development, infrastructural development in terms of roads is huge. 5-lane roads, new buildings are sprouting up everywhere. And I think probably that is the way Uganda may ultimately go, because when you relate the two nations, you find some very glaring similarities. Like Uganda, Ghana has had several coups.
This address to Parliament followed a standoff by MPs and executive over the Petroleum Exploration, Production and Development Bill, which is now an act of Parliament awaiting his assent. A group of MPs under the umbrella organization, the Parliamentary Forum on Oil and Gas, led by Remiaga Theodore Chikubo and Bugweri MP Abudu Katonto, among others, raised the red flag.
He had closed himself in a room with his so-called scientists, the one he was talking about yesterday. They are the only one who knew what was going on in this industry.
And the president used this platform to directly respond to this group of MPs who have since accused him of personalizing the oil sector.
For the Honorable Sekikubo, Nwagaba, etc., to malign this historic achievement.
We are not under any foreign interest, he knows it.
They are all there in the policy that was promulgated by government. So there is nothing that is unique or that we are doing. If anything, we are really helping government to implement that policy. So the idea that we are representing foreign interests, I don't think it's warranted.
Who holds the NGOs accountable? They are only accountable to those who finance them. And you claim to clamor for Ugandan interests? Come on, who is fooling fool? We must see that, we must know that.
However, analysts argue that President Museveni's address to the oil sector to Parliament was not for Uganda alone. Museveni's relations seem to be shifting from the Western powers to the fast developing East.
As a Mwananchi, I went to Iran. I asked the president, do you have a refinery here? He said, we have got 9. And we are planning to build another 7.
Iran is known to be one of the arch enemies of the United States of America. And in every sense of the word, you'd say that the two nations are at war. And the shift from the West towards the East and towards Iran marks a big paradigm shift, a radical paradigm shift into Uganda's global relations, what has been and what is coming.
In fact, the president points out why Uganda's foreign relations with Italy denied any license in favor of Sinopec, a Chinese company, and his recent visit to Iran in search for building an oil refinery for Uganda.
Do you know how Sinopec came in? Sinopec, the Chinese group, how it came in? There was an Italian group. What are they called? Any.
It was not a speech that was indeed focused on the Ugandan audience, because it was announcing a strategic shift, number one, and two, it was announcing partnerships for the future at the expense of partnerships, traditional partnerships of the past.
This strategic shift, according to analysts, has a bearing on Uganda's future relations with Western powers like America. And once President Museveni insists on this, at the expense of traditional partnerships, only time will tell whether the discovery of oil will prove a blessing or a curse. Jjingo Francis, NTV.